Hello, hello.
Hi, everyone.
How are we all doing today? Leave any questions or responses, okay? Responses in the chat because we have like some actual activities going on today.
Yes, that'd be really good. So let's introduce ourselves. So I am Sophie. I am the owner of Evolve Hypnotherapy, and I help you break through what is holding you back so that you can live a satisfied life. I like to go into healing the past and helping with any kind of struggles like anxiety, self-esteem, anything that holds you back from living a life that you are satisfied with.
I love that because that's basically the exact same thing for me, except for I don't do hypnotherapy. I use like other modalities to help people with their mindset and to help them break past things. So,
This
yeah,
is
I feel
why we were drawn together, Bri. This is
I'm
why.
saying, like, it's just what's needed. It is what is needed. And it's like also like something that I've been wanting to communicate too is like there are so many different ways to solve your problems,
Mm,
and there's not just like one way only to do it. So like, and you get to choose, honestly. You get to choose if you want to try hypnotherapy, if you want to try Reiki, if you want to try like going to a regular therapist, if you want to try using a medication or using a plant. Like you
there's
can
just
choose
so much. There's so much out there. So much out there.
so much. So yeah, I feel like we're pretty much doing the same thing, but different.
Yeah, same but different. Well, today we are talking about money, money, honey. And, you know, who doesn't want money? And the
In this
reason,
economy, we all need money.
yeah, we do. We all need money. And, you know, we deserve a lot of it. I'm just going to come right out and say that. So,
Yeah.
this episode is all about money mindset, and we'll get into explaining a little bit what we mean by the money mindset.
Mm-hmm.
So, something I did some research a couple of weeks ago, and I'd asked my audience on Instagram, what is it that you really desire? What do you really want in life? And I can tell you now, most of the responses were financial stability. So why not do an episode on money? And
Same. That's
yeah,
my
and do
overall
you know
goal.
what? Everybody's idea of financial stability will be different. That'll be different based on what you've already experienced.
Mm-hmm.
But to get to a place of financial stability or even financial abundance, because I know that's what I want, and I'm going to get into this, but I don't feel greedy in saying that anymore. However,
Mm-hmm.
if you asked me this time last year, there was a very different answer.
I
And
feel
that's
you.
because I'd done no work on my money mindset. So,
Yeah.
yeah, so basically, to get to financial stability, we need to have a healthy mindset.
And relationship with money. Because if you're
Yeah.
like, you have to like treat it like its own sort of like entity or its own being. You know, if you're constantly talking down to it or like being passive towards it, like it's not going to want to hang around you.
Because what is money?
So,
And what is money?
energy, it is
Energy.
energy. There's actually this book
Everything's
too.
energy.
There's this book, and I know Sophie's going to bring up a book that she really likes, but there's this book that I have been reading called The Energy of Money. So I do recommend people look into that because like it is an energy. And like there's so many things that contribute to it that we aren't like always consciously aware of.
Mm. Yeah, and that's what we want to go into a little bit. We want to talk about beliefs around money, because this episode isn't, we're not experts on this, okay? This is coming from personal experience.
Mhm.
I can literally vouch for the last year of my life where I have started to get coaching and really started to look at my money mindset. And yeah, like we were saying, this episode is to bring a certain awareness of why you're probably not rolling in it, why you're probably not satisfied with your income, why you probably keep saying things like, I can't afford it, or I'm broke, skint. We say skint in the UK. I know you say broke. But yeah, we all have these beliefs around money. And if you want to change the way you welcome money into your life, if you want to earn more money, you want to make more money appear into your life, you have really got to get down with what you believe about money.
And I just wanted to say too that like the value to me in doing like energetic work, in doing hypnotherapy, or doing an Akashic Records reading, or doing just a tarot reading, like these different modalities, they can also help you to access the parts of you that you don't know or that you're not aware of, because like you can have like issues with money from like past lives, you can have issues with money from like your ancestral line, you can have issues with money from like this one-off experience that you might not remember, but it impacted you in one way or another. And it's like when you work with somebody to uncover these things, like if you find for yourself that you are working on it and you do still like come up against blocks and you don't know where it's coming from, like odds are it's something that's probably from a past life or from your ancestral line or something like that. And so like that's where it's like really powerful to get the outside help, to get help from other people and practitioners like Sophie or like me. Like I'm still training to be able to do these things, but I just felt like that was important because like I was saying before, there are so many things that impact your money mindset. And it's like the more you unravel, the more you find, and the deeper you go, like the more you release, and then that's when things start to flow.
100%. So our beliefs are formed from our external circumstances. So whatever we have experienced as children, because we pretty much create our belief systems between the time we're born to about the age of 7. Okay, so those first 7 years, that is when children are in a bit of a dream state. They're like sponges, and because there's so much to learn between those 7 years, children are able to absorb everything in their external environment. So the chances are, however your parents or guardians, whoever brought you up, however they spoke about money, and the people that you surround yourself with, by the way, as well, tends to become your belief system. But we're not always aware of our belief systems, because if I said to you, Bri,
I don't know where Sophie went. Oh, there she is.
I'm sorry, I went off by accident.
It's okay.
What I was saying is, whatever, if I said to you, Bri, would you like £1 million? What are you going to say?
Yes, please. Thank you.
Yeah, who wouldn't, right? However, whatever our beliefs are in our subconscious mind, so your subconscious is the part of your mind that is like the what was I going to say, like the motherboard or your computer hard drive.
Like
that's
the
part of your mind that creates your beliefs, absorbs absolutely everything around you, and remembers them forever, right?
Yeah, to protect you and to prepare you. Yeah,
it is, exactly. Somewhere in there we've created beliefs, and a very common one is there's not enough. Okay, a very common belief around money is there's not enough. Or something I said a while ago, in fact, a year ago, these words came out of my mouth and they will never come out of my mouth again. Money is the root of all evil. They are words that came out of my mouth. And so that meant I believed that money's evil.
Mm-hmm.
So when I'm trying to make money, I am subconsciously batting money away, because in my mind, in my subconscious mind, it's evil. I don't want that money.
Yeah. I've had a similar belief as well. It's also like, if I have money or too much money, then I'll be selfish, or I'll be greedy, or I'll be, evil, like you said. And it's like,
Yeah.
that's not how it works though. Like, you get to choose how you want to use it. And also, like, if you're using that, like, a lot of people will justify it as like, oh, Jeff Bezos, whatever, he could end world hunger and he's not ending world hunger. And it's like, when you make those judgments, it's like you're also passing that from yourself. So it's like you're kind of saying, oh, they don't deserve that because of XYZ. And then it's like, okay, but you're also telling yourself you don't deserve it because of XYZ. So
100%.
it's like a huge reflection.
Kind of ruined the thing that we were going to do, because I was going to say,
sorry,
type in, no, not you, I did it. I was going to say, type in the comments, money is, fill that sentence and see what we get.
I mean, people can still do it. That's how you, it's an easy way.
Okay, another one is, rich people are. If you are live with us, finish that sentence. Rich people are. Literally from what you instantly come up with. Don't think about it. Just write down the first word that comes to your mind. Rich people are what?
I'm going to wait for people to do that, but it's, even just thinking about it, I have like a polar opposites of like how I would have answered it versus how I answer it now.
Yeah.
So I guess I'll just share it, because I'm assuming people already know what they would have filled in the blank. Because for me, I had, and also this isn't even like old me, because it's like I'm still working through this, so it's kind of like an active thing. But I had, like, the first word that came into mind was assholes. They're assholes. And then I was like, wait, no, because I know people that have money and they're not assholes. So it's like, it's just like they're powerful, they are, happy, they are abundant, they are rich, like, in life, pretty much. So it's kind of like actively reframing that and catching yourself in those thoughts.
Exactly. Actively doing that. So I think mine was last year, something like, rich people are stuck up, or something like that, which
some of them are, but it doesn't mean like as a whole, or that you have to be.
No, 100% not, because everybody's unique, everyone's different, but these kind of perceptions have been built around this, probably by people who don't have a lot of money. It's a kind of way to, I suppose,
like a self-soothing.
It's that humble. It's that kind of belief that, having no money, you're still humble.
Yeah, and to me, it's also like a self-justification.
Yeah.
Like, if 100%. You can say, like, oh, this is why I don't have it, you're giving it a reason. Yeah. You're giving it something to blame other than yourself.
Giving yourself an excuse. Yeah, an excuse. And like we were saying, money equals energy. That energy is an exchange. So just because, we can't say all rich people are assholes, because, some people who aren't rich are also assholes.
That's a fact.
There's assholes everywhere, whether you've got money or not. But Yeah, what I was going to say is, so the thing that blocks us from money are our beliefs. So, like I say, with everything, if you want to make a change in your financial situation, you've really got to get to grips with what your beliefs around money are. And that can be
self-worth.
tricky.
Self-worth as well is a big one
Yeah,
too.
yeah. That can be really tricky, don't you think? To start to dig into your beliefs, because your beliefs are a lot of the time unconscious.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I would, again, I don't want to give advice, but I know from the work I've done on this is, you know, write down what you think about rich people, write down what you think money is, write down what you think about poor people, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and really start to see the story you're telling yourself.
Yeah, and write down
Because,
like the phrases that you hear a lot from the people
yes,
around you.
yeah, that as well. Oh God, our words create realities. And I've written down a quote from the book that I love so much. By the way, I'm not getting any royalties for this book, but I love it that much. I'll tell you what it is. It is "You Are a Badass at Making Money" by Jen Sincero. And if you listen to it on audio, she's hilarious. But there's a small little quote in the book that says, "What comes out of your mouth comes into your life." And that is literally with anything, not just
Mm-hmm.
money, anything.
Yes. Yes.
What
And
you,
it's like, and two, like, and when you say like out of your mouth, like, yes, obviously the actual words, but also like the energy and the emotions behind the words. So if you're
mhm,
constantly like saying negative things, giving out negative things, like you're just going to be creating and attracting negative things. If you're giving out like loving things, if you're giving out kind words, if you're giving out gratitude, happiness, joy, you're going to welcome that into
yeah,
your world because it's the frequencies and like the energy and what you're aligning with.
this
So
is
like
the law of attraction. What we put
yes,
out, we get back. What we
and
put
the same
out
as
there,
give and take,
yeah, exactly.
which
Exactly.
actually do you want to talk about the law of give and take for a second, because that is kind of a huge thing for me in
Mm,
reworking my money mindset, is understanding the law of giving and receiving. um, because I think I've gone through both sides of the spectrum where it's like I'm just constantly giving or I'm constantly receiving, and it's like trying to find the balance. um, so yeah, do you want
mm.
to talk about that, because I know you have some thoughts?
Yeah, so if we are, something that's just come to my mind is this is something that goes through my mind a lot, right? About buying gifts.
Mm.
There is a month in my year where it's literally everyone's birthday. In fact, it's March, so it's this month. It's literally everyone's bloody birthday in March, in my family. And in previous years, I can honestly say I'd get like a tight chest. The energy around this giving, that I'd never not, but the energy around it was bad, you know? Like, what I'm saying is, if you don't feel good about giving, you're not going to attract a good energy back. And you might find yourself in lack. You might find yourself, you know, saying, "Oh, I can't do that because I've got to buy this," or "I can't," you know, there's a lot of resistance about it. And I would say this year I've really tried to just not do that, you know, to get excited about giving, to to get prepared. And I found that when I told myself this, I managed to put some money away, and this month hasn't felt stressful. It's not, I've not felt stressed about it. And it was literally from looking at how I used to give and just stepping into a different kind of mindset, thinking, oh, I can't wait to give this. I can't wait to do that, because, and then you got to think, why can't I wait? Well, because I love these people, you know, I want to treat them, I want to see them happy. And I think that whole shift has really helped, you know, in just everything. And I trust more now. I trust that I will receive. I set goals for how much money I want to earn in a month, and I haven't hit my goal yet, because I know somewhere I'm resisting. You know, there's still, I'm not at any point there yet at perfecting this whole money mindset. I've got a lot of blocks, and I know that because I'm not hitting my goals. But I'm starting to lean more into trust, into trusting that I will not be without. Money will turn up when I need it. I don't know, what do you think? What do you feel about it, Bri?
I'm honestly on the same type of pathway, and trying to trust more is a main thing for me. And like also as you were talking, I was thinking about how I feel with like giving and stuff like that, which like I am working on actually getting better at it, because I feel like I do like resist giving like material things.
Yeah.
I mean, gift giving isn't really like my love language by any means. It's like way
No,
on the
it's not
bottom.
mine. It's
But
not
like
mine at all.
but like my friends and stuff, like they're so good at like giving me things. And I feel so bad because I'm like, oh, I feel like I'm not giving them anything. And then they're like, no, like I really like it. And I'm like, okay. But like, and then this is the thing too, is like, this year for Christmas, obviously I was a little bit short on cash. So I decided to go like the handmade route and like to create something and make something for them, which is really nice. And I had a lot of fun doing it and they liked it a lot. But like, there was a part of me that still was like, felt like there was an imbalance of like, oh, I didn't spend that much, so it's not worth that much as what they gave me. But they're like, no, like I love it, it's great. And I'm like, I have to fix that, because like worth and value doesn't equal money
No.
directly.
No.
So, and like
You
that's
can
another
you can
thing
be
too.
you can be the richest person in the world and still have shitty self-worth, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And then even this week, actually, because honestly, I've been spending a lot, which is hard for me because I've been trying to like hold on to it, just because it's like, there's reasons. Anyways, I am trying to work through that. And like the trust factor, like you're saying, is like a huge thing of like knowing it will return back. And I don't have to like hold myself back from having the things that I want or that are being given to me or being offered to me, like just because of the money. Because like money will come back. Like this past week, I went to the crystal store with my sister. Was not planning to buy a single thing. I just like to go to crystal stores. And I saw this and I was like, ooh, I don't know what that is, but I have to have it. And then I was like, oh, if it's like $25, like I guess I'll get it. It was 40. And I was like, ooh, like I don't know how I feel about that. And like I don't know how I feel about spending $40 when like I really wasn't even planning to spend anything. But if there's one thing I've learned through my crystal shopping adventures is that every time I don't get something, regret forever. Like, I'm like,
Yeah.
I should have just got it. Like, there was a
Yeah.
reason. And like, that's kind of where I'm at right now, is like, obviously discerning whether something is something I need versus something I just like casually want, or like, or
Yeah.
even, or not even like that, but more like, when you just like want something for like that dopamine hit and then that's it.
Yeah.
So like,
Yeah.
like getting better at discerning, like, okay, is this something that like will actually benefit me in the long run, or is it like a short term like gratification thing?
So it's actually, what what I hear that you're saying is that you're trying to be mindful about where your money goes and how it makes you feel.
Hmm.
So like for me, if I spend, I don't know, this has happened, just spent like a load of money in, I don't know, McDonald's or something that's not very good for me. And I mean, sometimes that brings me a lot of joy.
It depends on the month, right? The time of the month.
Depends where we are. But it's like discerning. Like, for example, investing in myself was something that felt scary. Last year, I spent a lot of money. Well, for me, it was a huge investment. I spent about £4,000 on developing myself, on working, coaching around my business,
Hmm.
things like that. And that felt like, I honestly, I've actually heard other people say this before, but it's so true. I've spent a lot of money on random crap before, like clothes or a weekend away. Not that that's rubbish, because a weekend away, is self-care, but I've never really thought twice about spending a certain amount of cash on a weekend away.
Hmm.
I'd save for it. I'd make sure I've got it, make sure I was paying it off. But when it came to something for me, an investment in myself, I really wanted this, and I thought, this is gonna like really help me in my business. It's gonna really help me like take things off the ground. And just before I paid for it, I felt sick.
Hmm.
Like almost like a sense of guilt. Like, you shouldn't be spending this much money on yourself.
Hmm.
And I hear all the time people, obviously people who call me and ask about my services. And sometimes people hear the price and that's it, like,
But I think you're super affordable. So
yeah.
it's like, it's all
But
about like
everybody's
perception.
affordability
Yeah.
is at a different level, isn't it?
Hmm.
Everybody's the way we think about money is different. And so obviously the more I've learned about this, the more I've learned that when you invest in yourself, what you get out of that is like 10 times the worth of what you actually put into it. That's when I started to not feel as guilty in making these purchases for myself. Like these investments were like, the energetic exchange was a transformation, like there's some kind of
Hmm.
transformation I'm getting out of this.
Yes. And that's what I'm actually. Oh, we have a comment. Emma said, knowing when to spend and when not to spend is always something I struggle with, as my previous mindset was positive, yet making money matter worse, using quotes such as, you can't take it to the grave. Yo, I had the same problem. I had the same problem where I would, but like in the sense of like, I took, it's going to return back, like everything I spend returns back to me. I took that like to the extreme, and it was like unnecessary. But I think, like, over time, you do just kind of get a grasp of it, but I think also, like, grace and, like, forgiveness for yourself is still really important if you do feel like you made a mistake. Like, you can't hold on to that, because if you're holding on to that mistake and that fear of making that mistake, you're gonna, like, backtrack on all the work that you did for your
And
mindset.
sometimes, I heard something the other day. knowing when to spend money. So if you want to make a purchase, hold back. Don't do it impulsively.
Mm-hmm.
Set yourself a limit of where you do not impulsively buy. So, you know, it could be anything from something that's over 20 quid to, I don't know, over 100, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Set yourself, this is something I heard, and I can't remember where I heard it, but they were basically saying, set yourself a limit of where you go, right, I'm going to hold back on that. And if I still want it in 3 days' time, I'm going to buy it.
Mm-hmm.
Because, and also think about why you want it. Is it going to make, if you're feeling, is it going to make you happy? Is it going to make you feel good? Or is it going to be a very quick hit and then nothing?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like how much
You've got to
are you
think about your energy, the energetic exchange
Mm-hmm.
in your spending.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that makes sense, Emma.
Yeah. Speaking of energetic exchange too, is like something that I'm starting to do to help rewire my mindset is like when you spend something, whether that's paying for your rent, paying for your car, paying for your groceries, or if it's like paying for a spa day, paying for something for you, something for your
Yeah.
kids or whatever. I think a lot of people look at spending as losing. You know, they don't say, "Oh, I just got this great thing." They say, "Oh, I spent this much money on this thing or whatever." And it's like I think an easy way to reframe that is to switch from a lack to an abundance. So like when I buy something, I'm like, wow, like I'm so grateful that I can afford this. I'm so grateful that I can have this, that, you know, this has come into my life and I can utilize it. Or like this
Yeah.
opportunity that I'm like, for example, when it comes to investing in yourself, I recently invested in training so that way like I can make sure that I'm properly guiding people through things and I'm giving them as much help and value and expertise as I can give.
Yeah.
So that was like a really scary investment for me, especially given like my current financial situation. But it was one of those things where I was like, this is what's going to make the difference. Like, this is what's going to help me. And then it was kind of like,
kind of stepping outside your financial comfort zone, I suppose.
yeah. And like taking that calculated risk of like, yes, it is going to cost me money, but it's going to like increase the value of my business and my services and my life. So,
Yeah.
like, what am I getting hung up about? And then, like, oh my God, sorry. And then, like, when it comes to the opportunity as well, you know, like being grateful to have crossed paths with this person, this program, this thing that I'm investing in, and to be able to have it. Oh my God, my dog. I'm sorry.
Excuse me.
Sorry. But yeah, like switching it so that you're giving yourself positive emotions around spending and around receiving.
Yeah. That's the whole, like, you know, flipping your mindset. So like Emma just said in the comments, subconscious, so she's got that voice that says, oh, you shouldn't buy that, or you can't afford that, yet she's still doing it anyway. Because the other part says, you know, it's fine, you'll find more money. However, if you have this constant belief that you can't afford things or that you shouldn't buy things, there's a massive chance that you're going to keep yourself in the same cycle and possibly not move out of where you are now. And I'm sorry, Bri, I've completely lost where you
That's
were with
okay.
that. I was just looking at that comment.
It's okay. I have the
Um,
same thing. It's like, oh, well, like logically, you really shouldn't do that. But then it's like, okay, but also, when have I ever not been okay? When have I ever,
yeah,
like, everything works out if you just
and
like
that's where your work
trust,
comes in as well, doesn't it?
yeah, that it'll work out. And I think too, like, I don't know, for me personally, especially right now, working through this mindset stuff is like my like spirituality is a huge thing that I am leaning on and that is really helping me because I am like looking at things as gifts and
Mm,
opportunities and blessings.
yeah.
So it's like, even like, and I bought this book as well that same day that I got this crystal. And I looked at the book and I was like, oh my God, this book is exactly what I wanted. It's everything that I am interested in and I want to know about. And it's right here in front of me, and I can buy it and I can afford it. And it's going to be so good and exciting to read. And
Mm,
it's like, that was my experience with buying that
yeah.
book. It wasn't, oh my God, like I really shouldn't be buying a book because I can get it for free online or get it for free from the library. Like I don't need to buy it, blah, blah, blah. But instead, I was just like, oh my God, this book is so sweet. Like I want this. This is
Mm,
great. And then I bought it. And then now I
yeah.
have
And
it.
you wanted to feel it in your hands and you wanted to take it home. And
Yeah.
it's, yeah, it's the experience, isn't it? And like how it makes you feel.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
I just wanted to touch before we kind of wrap things up.
Did you see Emma's comment?
Oh yeah, yeah.
She said, I find the term YOLO is very misleading. Literally, same. I use that all the time. Anytime I'm doing something that I'm like, this is a little bit reckless, I'm like, YOLO. Or I'm like, doing it for the plot is a new thing that people say. They say they're just doing
Uh-huh.
something for the plot. And I'm like, oh my God, yes. But also, we gotta look out for ourselves.
Yeah, and that's the thing, isn't it? You know, like having what I've learned is having financial goals are how you are going to turn things around, as well as looking at your limiting beliefs. I want to touch on something before we wrap up.
Yeah.
I had a question about how do I create financial abundance and how do I stop saying I can't afford it.
You know what, though? Actually, this is what I do to help me, like, combat saying I can't afford it. I just say it's not a priority.
Yes,
It's not that
yes,
you can't
and
afford it, it's
that's
just
what we
not
were
a
saying,
priority.
weren't we? About touching on the words that we use, and as well as be mindful about the people you are hanging around with. How often, if you literally listen to a conversation, right? And so many of us do this, myself included. I'm really trying to pick myself up on it because I'm like, no, stop it. But yeah, changing, I can't afford it to, it's not my priority right now. My
Mhm.
priority is this, whether it's saving up for a deposit on a house or I don't know, to make a financial purchase, whatever you create an emergency fund, like that's what I want to work on. I want to work on creating an emergency fund. So I know that I've got something there if any kind of emergency was to happen or, whatever. Yeah. I did laugh at in the book that I mentioned, like, she talks about being aware of the words you and your friends use around money. And then the next step was just to shut up. And it just made me laugh. But
Yeah.
yeah, I love how you've changed that to it's just not a priority, Bri.
Yeah.
Absolutely love
It's
that.
just not a priority. And two is like, you can't obviously control how other people are choosing to relive their life or
No,
respond
it's
to their
difficult.
circumstances. So, like, I have a lot of people around me who have really bad money mindsets, like horrendous. It's horrible.
Yeah.
And it's just like a constant effort that we have to make to, say like, these thoughts are not my own. I don't agree with that. This doesn't
Yeah.
apply to me. So that
Yeah.
you aren't like subconsciously taking it on and agreeing with your friends or your family or whatever, because that's just going to keep you back. You have to
Yeah.
be like, that's how they feel. That's fine.
Yeah.
But that's not how I feel.
Yeah. I had a question about how do I create abundance? How do I create financial abundance? Well, like we've kind of said throughout this whole episode, get really clear on your beliefs about money. Read up some books about money. Definitely have a go at you're a badass at making money. It's awesome. But there are so many books about money mindset out there. Like, educate yourself, and also educate yourself on how to increase your wealth, educate yourself on paying off debt, educate yourself on investing, educate yourself on making passive income, whether you are self-employed or you have a 9 to 5, however you make your money. I can guarantee you there's always ways of making passive income. So passive income, if you're wondering, is like an income that is, like a constant stream in the background. There are so many ways to do it.
So many. Like, it's ridiculous how many ways.
There's some really cool people like on Instagram that just do some research.
Mm-hmm.
I promise you, once you start working on your belief system, on your limiting beliefs, things will start to change for you. Like I said, we've both said we are not in the places that we want to be. However,
but we're working on it.
We're working on it.
Yes.
We're working on it. And you know what? Working on it also requires you to step out your comfort zone sometimes. For example, if you're in a job that you're at, maybe you think, I'm capped here, can't really earn any more than this, but I want to, if it's your dream to earn more money than you are, then it's up to you to look at how you can change that. Do you need to change jobs? Do you need to retrain? Can you go off self-employed? Like, I can honestly say, when you're self-employed, you're pretty limitless. Like, you're in charge. But I believe we're all limitless, with different income streams. You don't just have to have one income stream. Multiple income streams are, are how you can do it. But like I said, I'm not an expert on this at all. Yeah. This is just stuff that I've learned.
Yes. I just wanted to actually mention as well that in previous episodes we talked, last week's episode, we did an activity at the end that also helps you identify your limiting beliefs. So if you want to go back and listen to that, definitely recommend it. And then I also did an episode a couple weeks ago with my friend Andrea, who is a money and manifestation coach. And we talked a lot about like how to manifest money and how to make money plans and stuff like that. So definitely look into those as well to help further your education a little bit. And then, look at YouTube videos, books, podcasts. Like, there's so many things out there.
So much out there. But before we go, can I ask these questions for if you want to write things down? Maybe you're a journaler, but I'm a proper journaler. But I do have some questions that you might find useful to help start digging. Emma just said social media creates a temptation to spend. So that's up to you, Emma, to block these types of things. You are in control. You're in control of what you follow.
But I also think too, like, I agree with what she's saying about how when like the younger generations, like my generation and even the younger ones, like, we are not taught at all about money, about taxes, about like how to create wealth, about investing. We don't learn any of that stuff. Even like in courses, like I took actual courses at school and stuff, and they didn't actually teach us jack shit.
No.
because they don't want you to know.
I was going to say, I've got an opinion on this.
Yeah, they don't want you to
It is
know. So
because
it's like,
they don't want us to know. They don't want us to know how to earn money. They
and
don't want us to. Yeah.
social media is another huge marketing thing to get people to spend. You want to keep up with these hyped lifestyles, you have to go and spend and look a certain way.
Totally.
And it's like, that's not real life. Like, maybe for some people that's their reality because that's what they consume. But I'm saying, like, it doesn't have to be that way. Like you were saying, like, you can choose what you want to consume and what you want to, like, believe.
100%. 100%. And just remember that our reality is completely made up. It's completely make believe. Whatever we make ourselves believe literally becomes our reality. That's what we experience. So if you are constantly going around and using the words, I can't afford it, it's too expensive, this and that, or stopping yourself from progressing because you want to keep yourself subconsciously in your comfort zone, that's what you're going to experience. The change is going to come from change. If nothing changes, nothing changes. So yeah, just be aware of what you're saying to yourself, what those beliefs are, catching yourself out, call yourself out on your own bullshit. Like, I say this to so many people, you can call yourself out. I do this constantly in my life. Constantly, like, oh, fuck, I did it again. And so the questions that I was going to ask. Number one, what beliefs are blocking me? What beliefs about money are blocking me?
Which could just be, what are your current beliefs? Because it's probably what's blocking you.
Yeah. What are your excuses for not earning more money? Or what are your excuses for not earning the money you'd really like? Have you specifically got a goal? If not, it's time to get specific. That's how we manifest. We get specific. We say what we want. I have a number in my mind that I know I want to be earning year in, year out. And I know I ain't going to stop until I'm not going to stop. But, you've got to get specific. You've got to ask why you want that money. What will it do for you?
I also think too, like, when it comes to setting your goals and your expectations and what you want, it's important to also have those boundaries of, like, what are you willing to accept and how do you want it to feel? Because, for example, when you were talking about, like, oh, if you're at a job and you feel capped out, okay, well, if you're going to look for a new job, don't just look for any job. Look for what you actually want in the job.
Yeah.
And don't accept something that's not meeting that criteria.
Yeah, because the more again, it's all about the energy. It's about the attraction. It's about the frequency that we're giving out. If you are really enjoying earning money, I can guarantee you're going to earn more of it. If you hate what you do, you're going to attract something back. Maybe you hate what you do, but you get paid really well. I don't know. But there's some kind of imbalance there, So yeah, the more you love making money, the more exciting it becomes and the more you attract. My other thing was, my last thing, try and think every day, why am I grateful for money? What does money do for you? People's, the age-old quote, money doesn't bring you happiness. Well, I
disagree. Sure does. It
bloody
sure
well does. Because do you know what? If I didn't have a roof over my head, I wouldn't feel happy. If I didn't have gas and electricity, I wouldn't feel happy.
Well, I mean, you might feel happy, but you just wouldn't be like as.
Well, I'd be very bloody uncomfortable.
Yes, but at the same time, having
You gotta
money
think
doesn't
about,
also mean that you'll be happy.
yeah, definitely think about the things that you like to do with money. I like to go out. I like to see my friends and, like get a pizza and have a night in or go out for a meal. That costs money and that brings me joy, you know.
Mhm.
So I'm grateful for that. So yeah, think about why you're grateful for money and yeah, start doing the work.
Yes. And if you have like any other questions or you just want to like chat, me and Sophie are always available in our DMs and stuff if you want to message us. And yeah, everything should be linked as well below, so you can check us out.
Yeah, come follow us, come chat to us.
Yes.
And
I feel like we'll
yeah.
definitely still be talking about this topic in other episodes as well.
Oh
Because
yeah,
it's
'cause I
just,
love money. I love
it's such
talking
a,
about
when you're,
now I've kind of been opened up to this whole new world of I actually really like money now and I
you're an
want
earth
more of
sign,
it.
Sophie. We are earth signs. Of course, we like money. What are you
Yeah.
talking about?
Yeah, exactly. There goes. So yeah, I'm sure we'll be talking more about this.
Definitely.
I've
So,
really, really enjoyed this episode and we hope you have too. And
yes.
thank you
And
for the comments.
yes, thank you for participating and joining in.
Yeah,
We
cool.
appreciate it.
So,
Definitely adds to the conversation.
yeah, definitely. So let's wrap it up and we'll see you next week, same time, live.
Bye.
Goodbye.